rusty.
Right. Hey?
Yeah.
Bit rusty today.
Bit rusty. It's been a few weeks and I'm quite tired. And it's a Monday.
What's good with this pod is we got a break after this because it's international break.
I know, I was thinking that as well.
We just got to get through this one.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh man, we're like, because it's been a couple of weeks, we're committed to another pod and it's like, it's the international fucking break again. It always catches me by surprise, you know that? I swear to God, it's like, you have the first one, which you think, okay, I always know after, 3 fixtures, there's an international break. And that second one always comes by. And do you not think there's like a direct correlation to like bad weeks in fantasy football? Because I'm fucked off with it right now. And I'm like, all right, next week, it's almost like a bad gambler. Next week, another week where we get an opportunity to score well, pick the right captain. Like, fuck, it's international break. I don't get another go at this.
That is how the game works. Yeah. That's why it works. Because every week you want to play it again because you want to try and do better.
I don't even want to play it again. That's the problem. I mean, this season is about as bad as I've ever done. It's a joke. A joke.
Yeah, this one, because a couple of seasons ago, I kept forgetting to do my subs. I now do my subs like straight away on the weekends. And this one catches me out because I'll do a sub and then someone like might have a yellow flag because they're injured. It's like Bamford. And you think, oh, he'll be back because there's an international break now. But you make your sub thinking of it like week by week. So you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to bring in someone who's a risk. And the international break, this one does catch you out. And I'm like, it did with my sub because I can't remember who I brought in, but I remember looking at someone who had a 75% chance of playing, which with an international break probably means they're guaranteed to play the next game.
Well, did you take out Shaw? Because fucking hell, we went down in price just for one little thing. Like,
yeah, I took Shaw.
Oh, did you? It's stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, Man City are terrible, and Ole out. Is that where we're at?
No, but I think we're at a point of what do they say? You can't win a league by Christmas, but you can lose it, and it's.
Well, they said you can't win with kids.
Slightly different.
Yeah. No, I think what it is like, I think the loss to Young Boys has piled the pressure on even more because in the league we're only 2 points off, whatever. We're not playing great, but then no one else really is. So there's not a runaway leader. But the issue is like, if we're struggling with the group and we're struggling to keep pace with the top, which we could be a couple of weeks away from that scenario, our season could be over by Christmas. And it's like, that's why it's getting jittery, because you're like, we can't have another season where we're just top 4, no trophy. Like, if we ended top 4, no trophy, but we lost in like a Champions League final and we were goal difference off the Premier League, then that is a no trophy acceptable season. But we can't get to like Christmas thinking, okay, the best we got is a top 4 running. It's just.
But Dan, you both kind of wanted to talk about Ole and a couple of other managers, and I was surprised when you guys was like, oh yeah, you're not kind of sure about Man United because they've only lost one game in the Premier League this season, and they're only down a couple of points to the leaders, which is Chelsea. It doesn't look like, I know they probably don't look as good as they did the first couple of games, but why is it? I feel like you guys are just overreacting a little bit. Like, it's not that bad.
They've won 2 in their last 6, losing 3 of those. So it depends how you look at the stats. Yeah, they've lost 1 Premier League game, but as you said, they lost the game to Young Boys. They lost the game to West Ham in the Cup. So they're out of that now as well.
What, the Carabao Cup?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, but still, in the early stages, the point is, it took a real 95th minute, last minute Ronaldo to not put us bottom of the group after 2 games, which everyone knows in the Champions League, if you don't hit 9 points, it's pretty tough to get through sometimes. So we were nearly out the Champions League, out the Carabao Cup. Villa, we were poor and lost. Villarreal were better than us, but we beat them. Everton should have won, probably, and we managed to get a draw. So it's not just that we're not winning, it's that we're the last 3 or 4 games, we've been the worst team on the pitch. Now, we've happened to have ground out some results. We've got a win out of that, a draw, which is, you could say, all right, at least you're not losing when when you're the worst team. But it is a worry, I think, when it starts being 4 or 5 games on the trot, we start seeing what's going on here, being outplayed by everyone at all levels. here. This is
Well, if you're going to add the Carabao Cup to that, it's always going to look bad. I mean, you should exclude that. The only two things you really need to focus on is the Premier League and the Champions League. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Losing to young boys isn't good enough.
I'm saying that young boys, West Ham, Villa, Villarreal, and Everton. Those 5 teams, we played worse than them. Against those 5, they were all better than us. Now we got some results against a couple of them, lost some of the others, drew one. But those 5 teams should not be playing Man United off the park. They should not be dominating possession in the game. They should not be, particularly at Old Trafford, which some of these games were. They should not be even win a shout of winning, which they were.
What's the issue then?
Yeah, it could be trying to fit Ronaldo in, because since Ronaldo's come, what have we beat? We beat West Ham, where West Ham missed the last kick of the game penalty.
Yeah.
We beat Villarreal in the 93rd minute. Yeah, whatever it was. And I think that's it since Ronaldo's joined.
Had the big Leeds win.
Newcastle.
Newcastle. His debut.
Big win.
Leeds was before him. But so we had Newcastle where he came back and everything looked great. And then we've struggled 2 wins and we've either drawn or lost the others. And I think the weekend showed it. Like we dropped Ronaldo and Pogba and you knew people were going to write that as the story without actually watching the game, because the issue was when they came on more than when they came off. It was Cavani was brilliant, and it was like to sub him off on like the 57th minute when we're 1-0 up. Cavani's playing brilliant, just to bring Ronaldo on, to probably because Ronaldo wants like time. Ronaldo's probably thinking in his head he wants to get a certain amount of goals this season. It just seemed like a pre-planned sub. It's like, I'm going to bring Ronaldo on for Cavani on the 60th minute, and it'll be like FIFA where you do your quick subs. It doesn't matter when. I just hold R2 and press X, and it's like I'll do my sub. And it was like Cavani was the best player on the pitch, and it's like, and Cavani raises everyone else's game. Like he's such a workhorse. Like you see him press from the front. You see it. You see what Cavani gives you, and then for him to be subbed, I actually felt like a bit sorry for Cavani, because I was like, you're not being subbed for a tactical reason, and you're not being subbed for a performance reason.
Sounds like you've already turned on Ronaldo.
It's not Ronaldo, it's the management of it. It's like against West Ham, Ronaldo was the only player who really showed any fight, and it's like there's just something missing there, and it's like, it's the management of it. I don't think Ronaldo should have come on maybe until later in the game. Like at least let Cavani's legs wear off before. Cavani's hardly played this season, and then he gets 57 minutes where he's played brilliantly and just gets taken off for no reason. So
I loved the bit against Villarreal with Cavani. Did you see? Well, I think it was McTominay or someone played a ball through for Ronaldo. The ball was too heavy, so Ronaldo just like threw his arms up and gave up. And Cavani ran literally from the right wing all the way across the pitch to the left wing and managed to keep the ball in play, and that's where the goal came from in the end. That was a classic. Like, obviously, he played the whole game. Ronaldo, he was clearly tired. I know he's amazing, and I know he's superhuman, but he is 36, and clearly you've got to manage his minutes. And he wasn't running after that, but Cavani did. And
but there's also a reason why Cavani, even before Ronaldo was there, wasn't your starting centre forward. You know what I mean? Like he must be on some kind of minutes restriction, even if he wants to play on, and even if he wants to.
Yeah, well, we're talking about another player who's also pretty old, coming to the end of his career. We're not talking about.
Yeah, but they're not. I mean, Ronaldo is a freak of nature. Like, he's a whole different animal. And I don't know. I think you guys, probably because you're a Man United fan, so that's fair enough. You know, it's for me on the outside looking in. I do think you're kind of maybe being a little bit melodramatic about what to expect, because I'm looking at the league table now, right? So you've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City above you. It'd be hard for me to say that you're better than any one of those teams, right? So if you were to, currently you're standing at fourth, if you're looking to be a title contender, it's not a given for Man United. I think you're better than you are last season, and you're a good side, but you're still fallible. And again, if you're getting results, even though you're not playing that well, what, are you just waiting for them to kind of collapse and then just not get them results? Because the players that you've got are good enough to get results even when you're playing poorly. And you've got so many good players. Like you got Pogba, Bruno, Ronaldo, even Martial has good games. It's like they'll get you through games.
That's the point. Exactly the point. You shouldn't just be getting through games with Pogba, Ronaldo, like Bruno, all those players, that squad, you look at that squad, you look at City's, like, I know you say, oh, they're all better. Look at City's squad, and a lot of Man United players will get in their team. And look at their bench, and 4 of them are youth team players you've never heard of. Like, City have not got the squad United have. Liverpool, if they lose any of their front 3, they haven't got anyone to replace them. Right? And obviously, City haven't got a striker either. Yes, Chelsea have a strong squad. But outside of that, I mean, Leicester, Spurs, Arsenal, none of them look close. I think United are one of the strongest squads, if not the strongest in the league.
And and it's so early in the season, the fixtures matter. Like all those teams, Liverpool, City, and Chelsea, have played each other. We've still got them to come. So, if you're looking at the Premier League, we've got Leicester away, Liverpool at home, Tottenham away, and then Man City at home. So
Atlanta,
we needed probably, we probably needed to bank some points because
he's frozen.
Leicester, Liverpool, Tottenham, and City, and it will be. Is it frozen?
No,
you're good now.
No. I was going to talk about Leicester. I'm throwing a question out there because I was thinking about this yesterday. I was watching the Palace-Leicester game, the highlights of it. We talk about Palace. Actually, I was pretty impressed with them, but they, I don't know what it is about Leicester. Something's off. Something's not quite right. And I was thinking about Brendan Rodgers. And I went, Mark, how would you feel if Brendan Rodgers was the Man United manager?
Right now, like I say, it's an upgrade on Ollie, but not a big enough upgrade to get rid of Ollie. It's like
who is then? Who else is there? I was trying to think, like, if Ollie goes tomorrow,
Billy Dong.
Ranieri's gone. You can't have him.
Yeah, Premier League winner.
He'll be looking for a job come January.
Yeah, exactly.
Watford, but he's
who is there?
Yeah,
you get Allegri. You don't want Conte because you know what? He'll win you the title, but then he'll disappear.
To be honest, I'd just go Zidane.
What? Really?
Like you said this, I think you said this last season, Mark, or some point. I remember you saying this before now.
A while ago, I would probably go Zidane. Like the guy has done enough to warrant another job. Like he's won the league, he won the Champions League, 3 times in a row. Like
if he's going to lose to Sheriff, he might be gone anyway.
Well,
he's not their manager, is he?
Is he not?
He's not Real Madrid. No,
it's Carlo Ancelotti.
It's Ancelotti now. So I would like Zidane's, because you got to think realistically as well. And you're like, Poch seems to be struggling with too many big players, who was the one that was touted before Ollie. I don't know. That's it. For me, it's Zidane. Or I wouldn't like the question. Brendan Rodgers. I just don't think he's a big enough upgrade.
But I was thinking about it. I think that's why Ollie is still in a job, because he's doing a good enough job that it's not terrible. United aren't where Arsenal are. Well, not Arsenal doing it right now, but you know what I mean. They're not like just hoping for a top half finish. United are still challenging to an extent, have a good squad, all of that stuff. So he's doing enough. Morale's good. There's no crap coming out of United's changing room like it used to be with Pogba and Mourinho and all this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the big one, the crap of the players.
And there's also, but there's no other massively obvious candidate. I think if an obvious candidate came up, I think it would be a pretty easy decision to swap him. And the reason he's still there and might still be there all the way through to the end of the season is because I just don't know who they'd replace him with. I really don't. I think there's a lack of top quality managers at the moment.
And you don't think that you can get this done with Ole as your manager?
I think Mark's point at the start is right. I think he is far more likely to lose it than win it. And I think if he wins it, it's almost in spite of him. I like him. He's done what he needed to do. But he is not. He's not with the experience. He's not tactically smart enough to be able to go and do what the Klopps and Klopp, Tuchel, and Guardiola and Ole. Like, put those 4 in a room. You're telling me Ole comes out talking any sense?
Would you have taken a Claudio Ranieri?
That's funny. No, I mean you might as well get Brendan Rodgers. The one thing with Rodgers that I do like that he's done with Leicester is he builds, with the club's youth policy. He does that. He builds English players in the team as well, good spine, and he has a good style of football. And I can imagine someone like Rodgers going, I'll just take Tielemans and Pereira maybe with me. go and take the Man United job, have 2 years, probably win something, because he's proven he can win stuff now. He's got the FA Cup last year, obviously won all that stuff with Celtic, and then probably move on when someone bigger comes along. I can see it. I can see it happening. I don't know how United fans would react.
Yeah,
I can see it happening.
that's the issue. Is when a manager when there's already a loaded gun before the manager started, like he managed Liverpool, a bit like Benitez at Everton. It's just a waiting game. Wait till Everton lose 3 in a row, and that's it. Everyone will want Benitez out. That's what Rodgers will be. He'll be he's got unfair, but he's got a reputation of collapsing at the end of the seasons. He's got the problem with Rodgers is I don't think he'll get a fair crack at United. I think the moment something went slightly wrong, it would turn on him. And I'm not turned on Ollie yet. I'm just I think these are a big 4 weeks, 4 game weeks, should I say. I think this patch against these big teams and Atalanta twice, for me, is if we don't beat Atalanta twice and get a decent number of points out of the big Premier League games, then Ollie has to go, because we then are into the point where we need a manager to save the season. Not.
Would you take Bielsa the forward?
I was going to ask about Bielsa. I don't see it. I think he's a novelty. Bielsa.
I've been telling you this for ages.
No, look, he's obviously a fantastic manager. He is. But I think what I mean by novelty is I don't think he's going to come in and galvanise a group like the players at Man United, like a young group who are all egotistical, all play for Man United.
You can't look them in the eyes.
Yeah, and can't even speak the language still. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to come and do that. But
I think he does talk the language. He's just got this thing about talking to the press. I think he's very wary of the press.
I think he doesn't want to run the risk of being misinterpreted.
Maybe. I heard Bamford on a podcast not long ago, and he was saying he uses the interpreter at training.
Huh?
When he's screaming at people on the pitch, the interpreter's screaming.
That was on Peter Crouch's one, right? That was on Peter Crouch's, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which he said was quite funny. I alluded to Claudio Ranieri earlier on. I guess we'll talk briefly just on Watford. What is this like? I feel like they've had like 10 managers in about 12 years or something, and that was all in the last like 5 seasons or something.
They said it on Match today. They've had, I think, I can't remember the number now. I think it's 15 managers in 13 years.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what it is that they expect or not. I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't even know what to say. What is it they're aiming to do?
Outside of the one season they got relegated, it worked for them. They got promoted twice in that time, and they stayed up in the league for about 6 years in that time. They're now back in the league and arguably not looking like the worst team in the league and might stay up.
They did get battered. I know it was 1-0 to Leeds, but it was like a battering. So as much as
my thing is, I don't know if the owners or the board, they clearly for them, they're also like, it's worked for us. We can just change manager and just take whatever that hit is, because they're clearly not a Burnley where they don't have money where they can just kind of throw away. They're going to pay off the managers that they're getting rid of. I'm just trying to understand, I guess, what it is they're trying to achieve. Are they looking for some like secret sauce that's going to get them into the top half of the league, into Europe? Do they just fall out with the managers? It's so bizarre. A
new manager bounce, and they keep getting it. New manager comes in, does pretty well, and then things turn sour. They get rid, a new one comes in, does pretty well. Like they do somehow. Chelsea. Remember, Chelsea used to do this a lot more than they do now. Chelsea used to have sometimes 2 or 3 managers a season. They'd still go and win the Champions League and the league with it, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just works.
Well, you say they don't do it now. Their manager's not been in the job a year, and so they're literally doing it right now.
There you go. And they won the Champions League last year with a temporary manager who came in halfway through the season. So
but I mean, I guess that's slightly different because you can see Chelsea clearly got a goal that's achievable. What would Watford's achievable goal be? Or maybe it's literally they just believe in the manager bounce. I mean, I say like I'm outraged by it, but I'm about to put a bet on Watford to win the Premier League. So it must be either this season or next season. Depends on what the odds are. I'm wondering if they're.
The problem is because there'll be people doing that as a joke. Yeah. The odds will be like 800 to 1 because
Well,
it's
no,
annoying.
We'll look on it. We'll look on it. It'll be 12 to 1, and it'll be like, what?
Well, they changed it after Leicester won the league, so never again will there be the maximum odds for any team in the Premier League to win the league is 500 to 1. So you'll never get more than 500 to 1 for any team.
That's still fine.
That's fixing the market. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's a casino, isn't it? The house always wins.
Well, Watford are 2,500 to 1 currently to win this season's Premier League. So I don't know.
Really?
Maybe
I don't
pre-season
think
we were
I don't think it'll be
talking
this season, but I'm just wondering about next
Where are
season.
you seeing their odds? There was a thing about it has to be 500 to 1.
odds checker. So where you
Oh,
compare.
is it Betfair Exchange?
No, it's on a few. Like all the major ones are like between 1,000 and 2,500.
All right, maybe it's just the start of the season. I don't know.
I must admit, Watford was one of those sides where I'm like, do you know what? Who's having a pretty decent season? Watford. And you look, you're like, yeah, they're like 2-3 places outside of relegation. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, but it's what, 5 games, 6 games?
I know. But still, I mean, you're kind of getting a sense of this. I mean, I didn't realise Brentford was that high as well. But yeah, the leads of this season. Do you think Steve Bruce is going to go?
Yes.
Or I should probably ask, yes, when? Before Christmas or after Christmas?
After, because it's all to do with their ownership, isn't it? Like Mike Ashley is not putting any more money in the club than the club generates, so it's expensive to sack managers and put them in. So
Watford don't care.
I heard a good stat on the weekend on the radio when I was
for it.
about Steve Bruce. So talking about it, and his win percentage as a manager in the Premier League is the second worst in history. The only person worst is Brian Robson, and his win percentage with Newcastle this season is pretty much down there with his average. So it's like 23% or something. His win percentage.
Well, it's zero. He's not won a Premier League game.
What's that?
I said it's 0. He's not won a game in the Premier League.
Yeah, but it's his win percentage as the Newcastle manager. So it includes cups, includes everything.
Oh.
But it means he's only winning 1 in 5, basically.
Well, he's terrible, but I mean, we all know he's
up.
terrible.
They
He's a
finished
bad
like
manager.
11th last year.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? How much do you really need? How many do you need to win a season to stay up? If you can get 5 or 6 draws, you actually don't have many wins. But Newcastle are spending money, or trying to. They are spending a bit of money. I mean, they haven't got a great squad, admittedly, but surely they can do better than Steve Bruce. Like, obviously, I love Steve Bruce. I mean, he's a legend, but it's just not. He's had his time. He's had 13 clubs or something.
Well, he's just
it's just one of those. What the Newcastle want.
What's that?
It's just what the Newcastle want. Like he
want a caretaker.
It's funny that his win percentage is so poor, yet he keeps them up. Like he's been relegated with Hull once.
Sunderland? Did he get relegated again?
Sunderland.
I don't know if it was Sunderland.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like he got sacked and then Big Sam kept him up. I can't remember.
Did he get relegated with Birmingham? Was that no? It was Alex McLeish, wasn't it?
I can't remember. But yeah, it's funny his win percent. There must be something about because all the other managers get relegated so quickly. It's like
Maybe
they get theirs up or something. Because he's not like a notorious. It's not like you got Steve Bruce, you're going down.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I also don't think.
Is it not? Is that not? No, not at all.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you get him, I'm like,
or the year before, so no.
Okay. I mean, if someone was to get Steve Bruce, it's not like I'm going, oh, they've got a chance at anything. It's like,
no,
this is a bad manager.
They got a chance of staying up, but it kind of he's sort of put himself in that ambition of if he's your manager, you're just trying to stay up. Like,
who was the old manager? Pulis. Is he a Pulis?
Yeah.
Well, look at this then, yeah. Right, so Norwich then goes Newcastle, Burnley, Southampton, Leeds, Watford, Palace. I'll stop there because Leicester's next at 13th. How many of those teams do you think are going to finish below Newcastle? Because I can't really see many. Norwich could, Burnley could. For some reason, I don't think Southampton are as bad as they seem. Obviously, they're playing absolutely dreadful, but I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I like Southampton. I just don't think they're bad. Yeah.
I look at their team. I'm like, they've just got no centre forward.
Sold Danny Ings.
Danny said it earlier. I've watched Crystal Palace like 3 times this year, and I have been more impressed with them than I thought. Like maybe Vieira is actually a good manager. Like I didn't know what to think of him before he
just
came.
needed a manager that was also very quick, innit? You know, relates to him.
That's it. And but actually, he might turn out to be a good appointment. Like I didn't think it'd fail, but I just didn't think the team was that good. But watching it, they're actually quite a like entertaining team to watch. Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were good enough Premier League side.
So to answer your question, I say Burnley and Norwich, which means then I think there's one team Newcastle need to be better than. And yeah, it does look tough because Southampton, you feel like, could go on a run. Leeds, you'd expect to go up the league. And then it's Watford. How well does Ranieri do there? So.
But you know what? That might also be why they've got rid of their manager now. And they've looked at that and gone, well, we'll probably beat Norwich and Burnley. We basically need to do better than Newcastle or Southampton. So let's bring in Ranieri because we reckon he can at least do that. And that genuinely might be how they're looking at that, going, well, in that case, we'll stay up. There's another however many years of TV money. It's worth it.
Can we talk about the big game of the weekend? Liverpool versus Man City. There's only one way to describe this game. Do you know what that is?
A game of 2 halves.
It's a game of 2 halves. Look, you've taken it right out of my mouth. An absolute game of 2 halves. That first half was absolutely woeful. And then the second half was probably like one of the best games you're probably going to have this season, I think. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I thought it was going to be goals. Salah's just proven himself probably to be the best player in the Premier League right now. I don't think there's anyone close at this point.
No. He started this season on another level. I mean, after that first game, I was like...
Didn't you say 3 games ago Son was? But
who, me?
It's like literally about 3 game weeks ago.
What I said was, and maybe Salah heard this. What I said was, I think Son might be as good as Salah, and Salah's just taking it to a whole nother level and just left Son behind. So, I don't know. I obviously he is playing about as good as better than he's ever played. I think. I don't know what he's doing right now. It's just unbelievable. I mean, his goal was outrageous. There's nothing to keep him do. There's nothing anyone else can do. I do think that Man City's centre-backs, I think they're going to have a real issue. Well. I think they're going to have a real issue with their centre-backs, especially if Laporte's back there. I think he was dreadful yesterday. He was fucking horrific. So,
yeah, the thing is, like when you said we'll start with the goals, I was like, the only reason it turned out that way is because Liverpool scored first.
Yeah.
City are by far... I actually put City down in like the bottom 3 of teams I want to watch. They're so boring, and like if it's up to City, they would have taken a 0-0 in that game. And Liverpool scoring first, it's like good. Now City have to go forward. They have to take a bit more of a risk. While it was 0-0, you could tell City were happy and were like, well, at some point we might make a chance. Some point we'll attack. And as soon as Liverpool scored, it opened the game up, and then it became quite a good game. It took Liverpool to score first. I think if City scored first, we saw it against Chelsea the week before, they would have just tried to see the game out. And
to me, it seems Pep's doing the over-pepping, overthinking. Why is Jesus out on the right wing? I mean, he's got a bit of a baggy touch at the best of the time, but at least if it's in front of goal, he's got a chance of it going in. For him to be out on the wing and try to cross the ball, have control. To me, it doesn't make any sense. I think
because he tracks back more than Mahrez.
Yeah, but now you're in a situation where you're doing that for attributes you don't really want him on there for. Like, it's because you have no other options. So to me, it shows you're pretty thin, right?
I think I think they clearly see they can't score. Well, City like open floodgates. They either score 5 in a game or score 1, and it's like there's no in between really. And so I feel like with Jesus on the wing, it's like he gives cover to Kyle Walker. It's strange to say playing your centre forward on the wing is a defensive move, but it feels a defensive move by Pep just to be like, okay, I can cover right back that way. And someone like Mahrez doesn't track back as well. So yeah, that's probably his logic.
I think the interesting thing about City is Grealish. I don't think it's been talked about enough, but also, I've been a massive fan
It's not working, is it? It's not working.
Well, it's not that it's not working because Grealish is a good player and he does create and he does what he does. But you can't play Grealish and Sterling. We saw that for England, and you're seeing it for Man City. Every time those two have played, they've scored 0 goals as a team. It doesn't work. And then Phil Foden's come back in, and you go, well, Phil Foden should start every single time over both of them as a left winger because he's outstanding in that position. He's left-footed. He plays in that position, and he's just outstanding. So you look at that and go, well, what do you do with Grealish? So they play Grealish down the middle, thinking, right, we'll have him as a false 9 because they're doing their thing with Jesus. So Phil Foden can play. That means Sterling's on the bench. I just think they haven't worked. They're obviously missing a focal point. They need a number 9 desperately. They needed Harry Kane or someone as a focal point for people to play around. Was the Bruynes and the Phil Fodens, and everyone can then play off someone, but they haven't got it. And so I think he's a real problem for them because they're trying to fit him in, and it should. He has not worked out how yet because he's now got Foden, Sterling, and Grealish who basically can't play together, but all play the same position, but really should all be in the starting 11.
Well, for me, it makes sense. I don't understand why they don't try him out on the right-hand side. I mean, I know you're saying, again, tracking back. I think Kyle Walker is pretty good in terms of his defensive capabilities.
That's how Guardiola plays. Like his wing backs, fullbacks come inside, his centre back go out. Like the way he plays, the shape he has, he's all about team first. He doesn't care about players. He cares about team first. So you've got to do your job. If you're the right winger, this is your job. If you can't do that, as Aguero found out for a while when he played under Guardiola, you're my number 9. You're going to do this. Unless you do it, you're not in the team.
No, and you're right. And look, this is why he is who he is. And I'm a guy who's sitting in his underwear talking to you on Zoom. This is why I disagree with him. And not only do I disagree with him, I'm actually pretty sure I'm correct about it, that his tactics are pretty wrong in this situation. So, yeah, that's what I can say about that.
Yeah, and there's also tactics with the board, isn't there? By not playing your only number 9 in the number 9 position, make the number 9 look
He's done that
bigger hole.
When he was at Bayern, he did that. When he was at Barca, he used to do that. He does that everywhere he goes. He likes to make. Mourinho is a classic. He would always do that. Just make a statement with your team by not playing someone where they should.
Do you know who had the best performance of the game yesterday?
The best performance?
Yesterday?
Yeah. Phil Foden?
Yeah. No, wrong. Mike Dean, 4th official. I thought he's a bit much as a referee, but as a 4th official, outstanding. Like
I'm just thinking of that picture of Pep
just raging, absolute raging at him, and Mike Dean's just looking at him, being like, "Yeah, okay, fine." Just standing there, being like, "What a plum! What a brilliant!" It was so funny when he was just absolutely raging, doing his. Yeah, Mike Dean was class. He should stop being a referee and just be a 4th official. Non-stop.
Should we have 3 man of the matches then? Like,
in it? Is that the first time that's ever happened? I can't remember any joint.
I blame the Olympics. Like, everyone's a winner. Ever since that
millennials
gold medals.
Two matches. I missed that.
Yeah,
Gary Neville.
Gary Neville should never pick man of the match again. Like, for me, I thought actually this does sum up. Because he gave Foden and Salah both man at the match, even though it should have been Salah.
Should have been Salah by a country mile.
It shows the extra 10% hype English players get, isn't it? It's like, oh, Foden was as good as Salah. You're like, he wasn't, was he? Like,
Foden
he really
was. Foden. Look, I'm surprised. Man City for me were the worst team on the day. They won the first half, but it was 0-0. The second half for me was Liverpool was the better side, was attacking for the majority of it. And Man City obviously managed to get 2 goals. Phil Foden was good, but he was good for Man City. Salah was just a whole different thing. Like, he just was head and shoulders the best player on the pitch. And he's the one that I think he was unlucky himself not for Liverpool to win.
I think first half, Salah was nowhere. So he hardly did anything. So
but no one was. No one was there the first half. There was no game the first half.
I don't think he would have given the first half man of the match to Foden. In the first half, I don't know who would have been man of the match. Bloody Rodri of the defensive there. So,
or Emerson, not Emerson, Ederson.
It is depressing these days when Liverpool Man City is the biggest game of the season. It's just what's happened.
Why? What's wrong with that?
I think that there's a lot that have stories. The problem is like Man United, Liverpool, the last probably 3 years has been a bit of a boring fixture. I actually thought the North London derby is one of my favourites.
Yeah, and it's a shame we didn't do a pod for that one. Great win.
Yeah, but that is almost like a guaranteed good fixture. Liverpool Man City was when their rivalry first started out, and then for the first half this week, I thought, okay, this fixture's lost its spice. But then second half brought it back. But yeah, it's just how things go, isn't it? I think Man United, Liverpool, every time they play, feels like it's going to be a 1-0 either way. So yeah, maybe it got too big for its own good.
Too big for its boots. If we've not got anything else, I'd like to go to Results League.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think you have put the wrong result in for me.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, no.
You've put me to Norwich to beat Burnley, and you put Mark Arsenal to beat Brighton, and that's the other way around.
Well, same difference. They both got 0 points anyway. So.
Right. What did I do? Norwich to beat Burnley?
Yeah, you did.
What was that? What was it? 0-0.
0-0.
To be honest, I was looking at my 5-point return in the last 2 game weeks, Dan, and I didn't really care about you two.
It's important though, because we got, otherwise on our little spreadsheet, it will look like I've picked Norwich, and I haven't.
Destroying it right now, aren't
I? You're doing all right.
Doing all right. So we obviously missed a week. So game week 6, Mark put Spurs to beat Arsenal 2-1. Foolish. What a clown. What a stupid move to make. Arsenal, their season has changed, and they come back with a great draw against Brighton, who is one of our bogey teams, but at least we didn't lose. So we'll take that.
I heard Brighton had 28 shots on goal in that game.
Yeah, you'd be correct in hearing that. And Arsenal had significantly less. And that's Arsenal all over, isn't it?
Yep.
No, I mean, to be fair, I think most Arsenal fans were happy with the result, as you can imagine, with the North London derby. But let's not be silly. It's not really going to. I don't think it's going to change our season too much in terms of its overall trajectory. I think if we make it to like 8th, I think we'll be happy with that, the way it's currently going. So good for Arsenal, bad for Mark. Danny went for Leicester to beat Burnley 2-1. That was 2-2, I believe, right?
It was.
Leicester City. I was looking, like you said earlier, you're not really sure what's going on with Leicester. I think they are leaderless. I don't think they've got anyone there that kind of brings the team together. They got some talented young players, and they got Vardy and what have you. But players like Wes Morgan and stuff like that. They may not be the best player on the pitch. Harry Maguire's.
Is Jamie Vardy not a leader?
Probably not. I mean, if he's after training antics of cigarettes and beer and trying to get on it, I doubt he's doing the after match warm downs. And
I think there has to be question marks about some of their of the last 18 months, some of their acquisitions, some of the players they're buying, because I think they got to a level where they should have been ready to push on. Like they won the FA Cup last year, they should be ready to go again and push on. They went and got Patson Daka, who is never played for them. By all accounts, is a great player, but he's never played. They're really, really low in centre back. They've got like nothing.
They bought Vestergaard, who I thought it's one of those weird ones, because you think when you see him, he looks quite good, and then Southampton just every now and then would just like concede loads. Yeah.
But Dan, do you not think maybe this might be Leicester kind of maybe regressing to the mean to what they actually are, and maybe for the last few years they've potentially played above board?
You go back 2 years, and I reckon there was an argument to say that Leicester's starting 11 was as good as most in the league. Like at the time when Vardy was, doing it. I mean, he still is, but was the number 9 in the league. Really, it was only him and Kane. You had the Pereira, you had Chilwell, Schmeichel, you had Evans and Morgan, or whoever it was, Maguire. Yeah. You had Tielemans and Maddison doing what he was doing. But you looked at that team and went, those players would all get in the top 4 teams. So they absolutely.
The difference is probably Johnny Evans is probably the only one they bought who was a top 4 player when they bought.
Yeah.
Like
I think
like they might have had the best starting 11, and like you could argue that they're one of the best starting 11s, but all those players they bought as like builder-uppers, like they bought them with potential, and they might be doing that
That's
again.
not easy. It's not easy to repeat,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like they kind
how's
of like
Daka going to get
lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, and how's Daka going to get points for the All-Talk team if he just never gets any time? So,
right?
get him on.
Play him already, gods. But
So,
I think they're so heavily reliant on Wilfred and Ndidi, rightly, because he's one of the best defensive mids in the league. You put him in any team outside of Chelsea, and he'll do a good job. I think he'd improve United's team. He'd improve all of the top teams. But they can't win a game when he's not playing.
I don't think they played Chowdhury enough. I've always thought he was a good player.
Right.
Yeah, he's one of those. I'm just checking now. He's 24. I thought he was younger.
Hamza Chowdhury.
Yeah.
Like Jesse Lingard.
Ageless
right,
wonder.
who's your pick? You've stalled long enough, Chris. Who's your pick this week?
No, I've not even gone through the rest of the results, man.
Right.
I've gone Everton to beat Norwich at home 2-0. Got that exactly right. 3 points for me. Good stuff.
You wanted to build up that. Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah, exactly. You guys were fucking filibustering about Leicester and their seasons and all this nonsense. Last week, I actually put Watford to beat Leeds 2-1. I was convinced they would do it, and they didn't. That ended up being a draw.
No, it didn't.
No?
Leeds
won.
Oh, dear.
In a very one-sided game.
Yeah, I'm building more passion against Leeds somehow this season for some reason. That's probably why. Do you know what, right? I had no idea. I'm really showing myself up this pod. I had no idea who the fuck Watford's manager was. Cisco Nuno. Did anyone know his name?
Really?
Who is he?
No, I would have struggled to know.
No,
I would have. If it was a sticker album, I'd have been like, "Oh, that's Watford's manager." But like, if you asked me his name, it would have been like,
right. I'm good. I'm glad you guys are with me because I'm like, who was that? I had to Google it to be like, Watford. You said, Dan, you go. Watford's manager's been sacked. I was like, who? Neil Pearson. I was up to.
Nigel Pearson.
Nigel Pearson.
A while ago.
Yeah. No idea who he was. All I knew is who replaced him. Can you believe it? Anyway, I wonder if that's what the board did. They were like, "Who are we up to now?" No.
yeah.
So they lost, as you've rightfully corrected me. Mark, you did Arsenal to beat Brighton again. You're just getting Arsenal all types of wrong. Please pick Arsenal to lose. Oh no, that's you, Dan.
Yeah, Mark picked Norwich to beat Burnley. That's what I'm saying. You did it wrong.
Someone switched this around. And then Mark, you pitched Norwich to beat Burnley 2-0.
Yeah. Do you know when you look at a team like Norwich and you think, if you're even going to have a chance of staying up,
you need Pookie,
to get points.
You need someone to score at least 15 goals, at least.
Yeah.
And I actually think Norwich played well in that game. It was 0-0. But yeah, I thought if Norwich don't win games like that, I don't see them winning many.
You talk about Man City being unwatchable. There's a strong chance that I will not watch a single Norwich game this season. I have zero interest in them. Just
you're saying Burnley Norwich. Burnley v Norwich wasn't top of your list this weekend.
Put that on Super Sunday.
I actually don't even think it was on Match of the Day.
I don't even watch it on Match of the Day. It was after the Arsenal game. I was like, I'm not even going to bother watching the highlights.
I'm pretty sure it was after the news. It was like, come back.
It was during the Football League show, innit?
I'm trying to think. Yeah. I watched the whole of Match today, and I don't remember the Norwich.
No, who cares? Who cares? Norwich is about as relevant as the Carabao Cup. We don't care. Who cares? Except Danny, I guess.
I saw a meme today, and it just had a picture. It had Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, and the Norwich logo. That was it. And I was like, nice.
That's good. That's
all
really good. So this week I've put mine in the spreadsheet already, so I'll say mine because Danny wants to go next, I believe. I'm going to go for West Ham to beat Everton away from home. For some reason, I believe that it's a Moyes revenge game, and I think he's the better manager right now. So I'm going to go for West Ham. They've got quite a few goals this year as well. So hopefully, if Mikel's playing, I'm going to go for 3-1.
Shocker West Ham this weekend, wasn't it? Against Brentford, out of nowhere.
Brentford seems to be really good. Analytics working.
Yeah. I really enjoy watching Brentford.
Yeah, great team. Great team. I'm going for Brighton this week. I'm going to pick them away at the wonderful Norwich, of course. I need some points on the board because it's been a while. And I like Brighton this season. I think they're just excellent. They're doing what they've always done. They just create silly amount of chances. They've got to score against this team.
What's the score, Dan?
I'm going to go for a 2-0.
Is that away from home?
Yes.
Wow, that's not Norwich's first win of this season coming up.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks' time. Mark, what have you got?
All right. Because you've all gone away, I feel like I'm going to do it as well. And I've already picked them, so I don't want to pick them
a home
again.
fixture last season at all?
No, this game encourages picking away fixtures.
Yeah, it's that extra point.
Yeah.
Have I picked them to lose? No.
Remember we said, do you know what? Sorry, Mark. Do you remember we didn't do it this season? Remember we said it last season that we were going to put a bet on for our free fixtures because there was like a string of like 2 or 3 weeks where we got them all right in terms of results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going to do a TriCast every week.
Yeah. Wasn't we going to put like a 20 quid in each and do bets?
Yeah, and just do £1 or something on a £2.
Yeah.
We could. So this week we're going West Ham, Brighton, and who are you picking, Mark?
I might start that for us.
All right. I'm doing it. I'm doing the Monday night, and I'm doing Palace to beat Arsenal. Patrick Vieira, homecoming.
Oh,
wow.
That's massive. That would
I'm gonna go with a massive 2-1.
Do you know what? I'm actually really looking forward to that game. I think that is 2 interestingly matched up teams.
Well, if
Vieira, that's the job he wants. He wants the Arsenal job. So go and beat him. Yeah.
Imagine that.
Just have his CV. Like, do you know when he does the tactical notes? It's just his CV.
Well, this is a type of game that someone like a Wilfried Zaha just kind of has fun, isn't it? This is a type of game where he's just going to show where he's a bigger, stronger, better athlete and just run riot.
Do you know what? I've been waiting. Tomiyasu, your new right back. I've been waiting to see him get a bit of a challenge. I'll be really interested to see if he can handle Zaha. You might have a really good player on your hands there. He's looking half decent.
He looks. I'm trying to decide whether I'm fooling myself because I'm like, do you know what? He's much better than Bellerin, but then Bellerin wasn't that good. So what's our measuring stick here?
Yeah, but as long as you're getting an upgrade, that's all you can ask for.
I mean, shit. Like, yeah, it's an upgrade, but. Again, what are we doing with him? You cannot. It's like saying, we've upgraded Pascal Sigan with Titus Bramble. It's just, it's all the same. It could be.
Now, there's an interesting one. Who was better out of the 2 for another day?
Well, Mark loves Titus Bramble, so he's going to say him.
Yeah.
Should we go to the Champions League draft?
Oh, please don't.
We haven't done that for a little bit. So we missed our chance to change over our teams last week, so we can do it this week. So I know who Danny's going to go for. Danny's had a pretty bad start to the Champions League draft. You last place with
long game. Don't worry.
440 points. I'm second with 600 points. Exact. What are the chances? Thank you, Bayern Munich and Liverpool. Needed that. Mark is destroying it right now with 705 points. It's still quite a low-scoring game, but there's lots to play for. Yeah. So what we get to do now is we get to trade one of our teams. We'll have to correspond with the same pots. If you want to change one of your team, Danny goes first, I go second, Mark will go third. Now, I think we know who Danny's going to go for, but will he actually?
Who do you think I'm going to go for?
Well, we're going to go after the best team in Europe, Sheriff FC. Clearly.
So I looked at the fixtures just before, and obviously everyone's playing the same team twice now. So I was looking at it and thinking, Sheriff have got to play Inter Milan away.
Easy.
Now, I know they did well against Real Madrid and they've done well against Shakhtar, but are they really going to go and beat Inter Milan twice? I'm like, I don't know. I don't see it. I just can't bring myself to do it. So I'm gonna stick with Wolfsburg. The only one I would potentially swap is Man United because they're not in good form and they've got Atlanta twice. And someone like Juve could be a good shout, or Madrid, but Madrid don't like going to Shakhtar. I worry that I want Man United for later on. I think they'll just get through, and then I think they'll be better in the knockouts. That's when Ronaldo hits his stride. So I don't want to lose them, and I think if I give them up, I will lose them.
Pick a team.
I'm going to stick.
You're going to stick with everything?
I'm going to stick with all of them. Yep. I'm going to back myself.
Wow. It's my turn. So I've got Bayern Munich, Besiktas, Leipzig, and Liverpool.
Well, it's easy for you. You've got 2 teams you need to get rid of.
2 teams I need to get rid of.
Liverpool aren't that bad.
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, yeah.
You got to do it. You don't need.
I know you've left them. I know. I was trying to get you to do it, so I wasn't left with the with the joke. All right, go on and fuck it. I'll take it. Huh?
They might actually go through. If they get one more win, they'll go through.
Yeah. So. All they need to get 2 draws. I'm going to take up Besiktas and I'm going to switch them with Sheriff.
Nice. Bigger man than I am. Well done.
Well, the thing is, Besiktas is dog shit anyway, so might as well.
Why you picked them, I have no idea.
Hey?
I don't know why you picked them, but...
Well, we all know my football knowledge isn't the best. And Besiktas, I remember at the beginning of last year, got marked loads of points, so I was hoping they'd kind of do that.
It was Mönchengladbach. That just shows how much you remember.
Was it Mönchengladbach?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's the same badge. They got like a black badge, black and white badge. Go on, Mark.
Surely
I hate to get rid of them because they've been doing me so well, but I'm gonna have to say goodbye to Ajax.
Wow.
So Ajax are leaving my pot because they're playing back-to-back games against Dortmund, and
fair enough.
I just don't see them getting many points there. The problem is who to bring in, and I've just got a proper sneaky feeling Porto are going to beat Milan, and I don't know what I'm putting that on.
Well, why don't you take Milan out then? Because you've got Milan as well.
Different pot.
Oh yeah, it's a different part. I'm looking at who I can bring in. So I can bring in Porto. I can bring in Shakhtar Donetsk. Salzburg have Wolfsburg. Benfica. Who have Benfica got in the next fixture? Benfica are playing. Not looking at those. And then Zenit.
Zenit have got Juve, haven't they?
Do you not think Shakhtar Donetsk could be a good shout? Real Madrid being a
I'm going Zenit.
Against Juve, okay.
Back-to-back Juve. Ooh, okay.
They just beat Chelsea, didn't they?
Juve, yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm going Zenit.
Mark's clear on self-destruct mode. Fair enough.
Yeah, he's trying to make it fair. He's trying to make it to catch up.
Wow.
Watch Ajax. I watch Ajax, and there isn't what's his name scored like 5 Champions League goals. Haller
can't stop scoring. That guy scores 40 goals a season for them. Crazy.
And then I'm like, how are these players who I've seen play 90 minutes in the Premier League, who are terrible, just go and then
No, it's a style of play. When we're in a team that suits them or built around them or their style, then it works. When you get crappy managers trying to fit in a decent player into their own system, it doesn't work.
Just called David Moyes a crappy manager.
Well, I was more thinking about Dusan Tadic in the Southampton team. But
do they even know the concept of Route 1 in European football?
In Germany, they do.
Yeah.
Well, in Italy, that's what they invented it, didn't they?
They call it the Autobahn Un. Right. That is the Champions League draft. Everyone loves that game. I know you guys do.
It is a good game. It's a good game. I feel like you should get more points for the winner. I feel like the winning point should be higher.
What do you mean?
Like the winner
of the whole thing?
Yeah, the winner of the whole thing.
I just thought if I increased it by much more, it would be like the rest of the game doesn't matter.
Oh, fair enough. Right.
Could do. Maybe I'll make it 200. Should we put it 200 points?
We can't change it mid-season.
Of course I can. We're not even close
to this. The European Super League?
Yeah. Of course I can. I can do what I like.
I'm not winning. I'm not winning. I'm changing the points.
No, good. All right. So,
very good.
I guess the only thing left is front three, back four.
Yep.
Unless you got any other football news?
Marcus Alonso decided to stop taking the knee. Did you see that? The only football.
Yeah. He points to the badge now instead. Yeah. So I think he's just like, at some point he's probably thinking at some point someone has to stop doing the knee. So he just
Why? Because everyone's going to become racist again.
Weird, isn't it? You don't want to be the first, though. I mean,
well, wasn't Zaha the first? He said, "I'm not doing it anymore," and then he started doing it again.
I don't know. Who knows?
So it's pointless, but yeah. Right, front three, back four.
Yeah, why don't you kick it off?
I'll kick us off by taking the knee. No. In my back four this week is insulate Britain.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do you know what? All I have to say is fuck you.
Today?
Yeah, just fuck you. That's it. Fuck you, piece of shit. That's all I'm leaving as.
I know.
No, they're assholes. I think they can just go fuck themselves. Now it's like they're glory hunting, isn't it? They want to get more in the news. They want to fuck people up even more. They want to get themselves out there. I mean, I've seen that. You've seen that clip today. The lady crying wanting to see her mum at the hospital.
Yeah, but can you? Obviously, ridiculous and it's stupid. And if they're going to arrest them for God's sake. But the one thing you would say is, if you want to protest against something, you need to get noticed. They are getting noticed, or we are all talking about them.
Everyone says that, but the thing is, right? How do you get? So they're protesting towards government, right? For them to make changes. What did the government do, or who do they pay attention to? The people. What Insulate Britain do? They're turning people away from them. More people are against Insulate Britain than they are for them. So as long as the people are against them more than they are for them, the government will say, well, look, we can do, we're not going to follow what you say because the majority of the people that we're listening to aren't paying attention, don't want what you want. So that's basically what it boils down to. This isn't a case of, bad publicity is good publicity or whatever it is. This is just them making a big deal out of themselves. We've come into a time where people just protest for the sake of protest because they want to create awareness. Well, creating awareness is only a small part of it. You're not heroes. You're not doing anything worth anything. You're just trying to find some purpose for yourselves. They're not bad people. Their actions just aren't probably the wisest, I would say.
I'd love to know how they got to junction 4 of the M4 without a car.
Yeah, that's a good question.
How do they get there?
Yeah,
what's the driven?
Helicopter.
As you say, it's to make themselves feel better. Because they try and make it like, I think, say like Extinction Rebellion. People say, oh, their goals are too extreme. They're impossible. If we couldn't do what they say, they basically want no one to drive or fly for 5 years or something. And then this one's gone extreme the other way, where they're like, mate, you're holding up the M4 because of double glazing. Like, we just want people to insulate their house. It's like,
isn't it?
My landlady's been trying to get double glazing for years, but this is one of those, what they call them, conservation areas. So the houses have to keep the old Victorian windows. We can't even get double glazing. So protest outside there.
I know, it's like literally like the most, first world problem. We haven't got double glazing and insulation in our conservatory. We must have it. Like, you're talking about plums. Yeah, that's my head in. There you go. In my front three this week is The Sopranos. The Sopranos is having a new movie coming out called The Many Saints of Newark. Now, I don't know if you've ever talked much about it. We know that The Wire is probably my favorite show of all time. Sopranos is very close. Have you guys seen Sopranos? No. Great show. Right, Dan?
Yeah, great ending.
Don't. That's the only downside of it. It's the very, very last episode.
Kind of important of anything I've ever watched in the world. When it's got a bad ending, never watch it ever again. Even
you like it. You like bad stuff, so you must like it, right?
I can reel off things that I loved all the way through for years, and then they were terrible. Line of Duty, the King. What's the
Game of
Game
Thrones.
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones? That's the one everyone was obsessed with. How I Met Your Mother. I can name.
Oh,
loads.
How I Met Your Mother.
The
My
endings were
goodness.
just so bad. I've never ever gone back and watched them again.
Lost.
Except
Lost.
Friends had a great ending.
Yeah, and that's why it stood the test of time.
The Wire had the best ending ever.
Yeah, why it was good. But
Breaking Bad wasn't too bad. But yeah, Sopranos has a new movie. And one thing you also know is I love movies. In fact, I actually hate them. And I know this is going to be a terrible movie, but it's one of those ones. It's one of those few movies where I'm like, I have to go see it for me because I like the Sopranos. Hey?
Can it be worse than your other favourite?
John Wick 3 was bad. John Wick 1's great. John Wick 1 is fucking great. John Wick 2 wasn't great. John Wick 3 is a joke.
The worst film ever.
Oh, so bad. So bad. But yeah, Sopranos, I'm going to watch The Many Saints of Newark. I just watched Respect. That was a bad movie. I'm not going to watch James Bond, although
I think all new movies are bad.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't make good movies anymore. So yeah, fun free Sopranos movie. Me gonna have some stale popcorn and probably recline in a seat. So there you go.
Nice.
Who wants to go next?
Right.
Oh,
Well,
Mark wants to go.
It's a similar theme to mine, just because it's in the movie theme. But my front three this week is Rocky 4.
Oh.
So they're re-releasing Rocky 4. Sylvester Stallone's doing a director's cut. So there'll be. I recently rewatched all the Rockies, and Rocky 4 was my favorite. And I don't think
He dies.
Yeah, I don't think it's aged as well as some of the others. So
do you know Rocky, the Rocky series? Do you know what that is?
What?
The series of two halves.
Is it?
The fifth one's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not quite two halves.
I always.
Yeah, well, there's Rocky Balboa, which is bad. There's Creed, which is bad.
Balboa is not that bad. 5 is awful.
Yeah.
4 was my favorite. 3 is very good.
I like 3.
1's the original, and 2 is a bit weird. It's just like a repeat of 1. But it just spoiler alert: Rocky wins in 2. It's
don't say it again.
Right, we'll put a spoiler alert button on
I don't think Rocky 4 needs too much tweaks to make it stand up to be aged a bit better. So I'm hoping it comes out in a couple of months. Apparently it's been aired in the cinemas for 1 day only, but I'm hoping then it becomes available on streaming devices, or I should have a little man with a camera in there who will post it online. I can watch it there.
Old school.
They'll be like the most exclusive screening with 8 people, and somehow it will still end up on the internet. There'll still be someone like. So it'll be interesting because I thought it was only about 6 months ago I watched Rocky 4, and I thought, do you know what, there's only some minor tweaks, and this film is great. I think in terms of the training scenes, the music, it's great, but there's just some stuff that doesn't age too well. And yeah, one of those things is, do you remember in Rocky 4 he had a robot?
Yeah.
Any of you remember that? He had the robot butler.
Yeah.
It was like, because he had all the money, and then he had that random robot butler. Well, anyway, my back 4 is Amazon, because they've decided to build that bloody robot butler. And so I've actually got one of Amazon's smart speakers. I don't want to say her name because it will set her off.
Alexa.
And the one thing that she can't do is follow you around the house. So you got some areas where they can't pick up on what you're talking about because they're always listening. So now
it's like
Amazon
my wife
released a robot, so she can follow you around the house. She can go with you where you want to go. I haven't quite seen too many uses for her other than on the advert it showed like the robot go into a little kid's bedroom while the nan was Skyping her, how was your birthday or something. And it's just their way of saying, okay, we couldn't pick up all your conversations around your house. What do we build? We'll build something that can move around your house. So
look, to be honest,
I would rather. Should you not be bad now that you're a future employer?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good application while it lasted.
I was going to say you was going to say I've got one of them robots because it gives it to you. They give it to you when you're a new starter.
Yeah, I thought this is how you were going to announce that you were working for Amazon now.
Yeah, no. I did want to get one of the robot hoovers though. I thought they looked quite cool. At least
let's get a cleaner. Yeah. It will cost less, honestly.
Why have people, Chris?
We've been through this. Can that Hoover go up and down stairs? I don't think so, Mark.
No, but we need to replace all people with machines. So
that's a good
start. Fix self-servicing machines, and I'll consider getting a robot to clean my house.
Right, in my back four this week.
Go on, Dan, finish this off.
My back four is Spennymoor Town FC. Big fan. Huh? Spennymoor Town FC, they're a National League football club in the 6th tier of men's English football. And last week, they officially had the first men's game with the new heading rules. So I don't know if you saw the story. I'll read you the excerpt. It's the world's first adult football match with heading restrictions, which took place last Sunday at a charity event. And the pilot match was hosted by Spennymoor Town FC, and it was organised by Head for Change. Basically, the rules, you're only allowed headers in the penalty box and only in the first half. So if you header it outside of the penalty
box, second half is
or if you header it at all in the second half, there's immediate foul given. So they restrict all heading. Anyway, they had a few semi-professional footballers, ex-professional footballers, and they did a big thing about it. And they're obviously trying to raise awareness, as we know, about the studies that have coming out showing that actually dementia, trauma, all sorts of stuff. And it obviously it's different, right? I think back to the NFL thing, and I think back to Amalu. What was his name? The doctor. Something Amalu, the guy who came up with the
South African one, yes.
Yeah, he came up with a theory that
tell the truth.
In the NFL, those head collisions were causing traumas, causing people to go crazy and causing people to die. And
they do dive with their head first. Though.
So this is but that's the point. Right? So I think people are looking at that and saying, well, look, if the same thing's happening in football, they've banned it in NFL. They're trying to cut it out in the NFL. So you should be doing the same with football. And I'm saying, hold on a minute. In the NFL, you're trying to ban someone flying through the air with their head to tackle someone. That's fine. You can still tackle in loads of other ways. If you just want to completely remove heading from football, then that's a completely different game. Like, it's such a massive part of the sport. I think it's going to be really difficult. So it's in my back forward just because I'm worried about the world we live in today and the PC world that we're in and how everything is. It's not going to take long for something like that to catch on. And before you know it...
I was going to say, quick question. What was the name of is it Getting Ahead?
Who?
Head for Change.
Head for Change.
Head for Change. Do you both think that we've maxed out on causes? Do you think we've reached the limit?
On charity?
We just all of them, all causes.
I don't know.
We're banning heading from football because the millionaires and whoever else are getting head injuries or something like that.
Well, look, there were studies that correlated ex-footballers with early onset of dementia, and if that is actually true, and if it is causing problems, then of course you need to look at it. Of course you need support to make it happen, and that is an uphill battle from the start. But also, you're talking about a different era when the balls were different, the game was different.
That's one of the things they don't account is it has changed. Like the balls are lighter, as you say. The game is less rough. Like in the old days. It'd probably be a yellow card if someone led with their foot and hit you in the head with it. And it's like the game, we already said the game's a bit softer now. But
anyway, so that's what I'm back for this week because I think
surely you would want headers only in the second half when
weird,
it's
right?
More crucial.
You know when you're like, I'm going to come up with some new rules. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to come up with a ridiculous rule. You can only header in the first half and you can only do it in the box.
It's probably that the person who made those rules probably been hitting head too much.
Maybe. In my front three this week is October. Hooray! It's October.
We're in it.
Or I should say Uptober, as it's now going to be known. So as you guys know, I quite like a little flutter in the markets, stocks, crypto, all sorts of stuff. And everyone knows that September is the worst time of year.
How's football index going?
That disappeared a long time ago. It's crap. September is always bad. It's always down. Everything, S&P was down. Everything was down. It's crap. But October starts and boom, everything goes up again and everyone's happy. And Q4 is typically a really good time of the year for that. So congratulations to September. You finished for the year. I'm pleased that it's now October and we can get out of the silly, stupid month where everyone just...
We know how the stocks go, don't we? They go down.
And they go up.
And they go up. And now they're going up. So there we go. Stocks 101.
There you go. That's our other point.
Good, yeah. Clearly, Danny thought of his front three back four all of 2 minutes before the pod started.
Danny's becoming like the comments of Twitter, isn't it? Do you know, like there'll be like a headline, you click on it, the first comment's like NFT, click here to buy your cryptocurrency, referral code this. You're like, oh, everything's crypto.
I didn't mention any of that. I mentioned
football
and I mentioned October.
October guaranteed rises. Click here. Referral code.
And actually, we've got an all talk NFT, which we'll put a link to below in the comment section. So, thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
For a small 250 grand, you could buy the NFT for the logo behind us.
Yeah, that I can't get working because I didn't pay.
Yeah,
we can't all three have it, Mark. Get a new background, man. This is my background.
Yeah, look, I rebuilt a whole room for my background. What are you doing?
Isn't it?
What background?
What have you got?
You just need to get a new laptop.
Yeah. I do.
It's true. All right. So I guess we won't be back next week for international break. Maybe not.
Not unless Tammy Abraham scores a hat-trick for England. Then
well, we'll see you at some point. Good to see you, Rusty, as always, and we shall see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.